Make sure everything loaded. All right, so we are on our fourth indie takeover today. I'm just making sure my videos are showing up for you guys, because the last thing I want is to be talking to nobody. And it says we are live. Let me just make sure. Yes, it is. Very good. All right. So we have a great show tonight. We have Dio from the Tomb of Reckoning. We have Belmont Comics Press for Smokes the Fox, and Vaughn Coleman for Phenomenova. So we have a really, really awesome stuff tonight, and I'm really excited to share it. I'm just posting the link on Twitter because YouTube was just not kind to me today, and technology is just not cooperative tonight. So I appreciate you guys being patient with me for that as well. All right. So first up, we're going to talk to, get that there, to Dio, and I'm going to share the screen real quick. There we go. All right. So Tomb of Reckoning, Dio. First of all, this looks really cool.
Awesome.
I love monster comics. I love monsters in general. And this looks right up my alley. The colors really pop. They're not like your typical horror colors. They're intentional. Like they really bring out something unique to what you have here. So I'm going to let you talk about this real quick, and I'll start from the top.
Sure.
So I'm not getting lost in this.
Yeah, by all means. So yeah, this is the third issue that I put out. It's ready to go to print. Well, semi-ready to go to print. Still got to put the letters on it, but it's my horror comic. It's a story that's takes place during an impending apocalypse with a wide cast of characters, and it's just my passion project. Speaking of the colors, that's my wife that does those.
Oh, nice.
So she's going to love to hear that. She's always hard on herself about the colors, but I love it. But yeah, it's my little horror comic. And it's just, it's about an impending apocalypse and a group of people that are thrust together, forming a makeshift family in order to make it to the end of the world and see what happens. But yeah, I'm on my third issue right now and introducing a whole set of new characters. It's 34 pages right now. For this issue. And then the first issue is 36 pages. The second issue is 36 pages as well.
Nice.
The fourth issue is done with the inks and pencils. And that's
nice.
44 pages, I think. I have to look. But yeah, just it's my passion project. I've had this idea since I was a kid and finally put it together. So
very awesome. Yeah, so she did a phenomenal job with the colors. Like this really does pop. Like the red
like
behind them, Yes.
I appreciate that. She's a traditional artist. She's the actual artist in the family. She's really good. She does traditional stuff beautifully, paintings, pastels, watercolors, and with the digital stuff, she kills it as well. So I'm just trying to keep up with her. So
geez. That's always the hard part when one person's like, all right, here, I'm done. I'm going. So you got 4 ready to go almost too?
Yes. Yeah. So we're gonna launch the fourth one probably in a couple months. We're hoping to get this out by end of July because we still have to letter it and finish up some colors. She flatted the whole book, but like I said, we had a baby at the beginning when we launched this thing. So it's the priorities.
Yes. Baby comes first.
Yeah, we're trucking along, and we should have it ready by the end of July to be shipped out to everybody. So,
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
This is. I love to see that you guys are able to go beyond the first issue, and it's already like in motion, and you're like, yeah, I got the second and third already on the way. It's like, whoa. Let me finish with one. This is so cool.
Where even if nobody's buying it, I'm still going to do it. It's my baby. I've the story's written, and if nobody was picking it up, I'd still be drawing it at home. So so I'll be trucking along and until I was going to say until I go bald, but that time's already come. So until I grow hair again, and they figure out a pill that grows it back. So
there you go. I think that's awesome. I like to hear that creators are like, no, I'm making this no matter what, because that's how you know that you're putting your full effort into it no matter what. And those that it shines through in your work. It really does.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So I love this. All right. So we're on number 3. So for someone who is just now learning about this, what can they expect from 1 to 3?
1 to 3, we're introducing the main set of characters essentially in 1 through 3. And it's just a fun little action adventure horror ride. I mean, if you like stuff like, the show Supernatural, movies like Terminator 2, books like how can you beat that, right? Terminator 2 is awesome.
Oh yeah, one of my favorites.
Seriously. And even Terminator, the Terminator and Terminator 2 are great examples of the first movie being essentially a slasher movie, and the second movie being one of the best adventure action movies ever. So I try to meld, the sensibilities of those two things with my love of horror and sci-fi. But it starts off, pretty. I was gonna say balls to the. I'll say balls to the wall. The first and second issue, and doesn't stop from there on out. But yeah, a lot of people that have read it so far have given great feedback. They love the dialogue, they love the characters, and I just hope to get it into more people's hands so they can see the care and the effort that I put into both the artwork and the writing. So
yes, it does sound really good, and you've got a tier here, so you can get 1, 2, and 3, which is really good. It's always nice for people who are new to this because then you can just grab it all at once.
Right,
don't have to wait, and that's why I do that a lot. So, all right. So I'm going to just go down to some of the other artwork here. This looks really nice. Like when I say that I love the colors on this, I really do. This pops a lot.
Thank you.
So is this our main character?
That is not. That's a new character that's introduced in issue 3. The cover work is done for all 3 issues. And for every issue here on out is done by my friend Ed Herrera. So he does the line work on the covers, and then Jewel, my wife, colors the stuff. But no, he's a character that's being introduced in this issue, and he's got a great story arc, from here all the way to the end. And I can't wait for people to check it out.
Yeah, he looks really intense. He definitely gives off that horror vibe too. It's like a Jason vibe.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love slasher villains. I remember when I was I wrote a slasher screenplay. It's due for a rewrite, but I was like, dude, I don't know what to come up with for the mask, and I have ideas, and I would just kind of say a cool mask, and I'm like, I'll find someone, because everything's taken, even down to a painted William Shatner mask, which I didn't think of. So I'm like, you know what? What if I have just like, if there's a production, if I ever make this movie, right now in comics, I'd be like, if you know what, let's say there's just like a funny production story that leads to a mask. Like that's what was in Halloween. Halloween was a clown mask. And then Jason
was like the hockey mask. They just drilled extra holes in it and said, here you go.
Jason I didn't realize that took 3 movies to get the Jason look down.
Yep. Yeah, he had he had a bag on his head, just like the character from the town of Dread Center.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
It's a good movie. It's a little hokey, but it's hokey in a good way. And then you should watch the sequel that was done in the late 2010s. And it's
it was a sequel. I thought it was a remake. It was a sequel.
No, it's like a meta sequel. I would check it out. I would watch the first one and then I'd watch the second one, and it's pretty good. It's weird, but it's good for sure.
Let's not pretend like Friday the 13th was a great movie.
The first one wasn't horrible.
It wasn't horrible. That's your compliment.
Well, I mean, listen, you got to think when it came out, though. When it came out, what was out?
I hear this argument all the time. I have a Halloween poster in my room, right? That came out 2 years beforehand. Masterpiece.
Halloween's definitely a better movie.
Came out 20 years before Friday the 13th, and that movie holds up better.
Well, Friday the 13th is essentially Psycho. It's just
but Psycho's better.
I mean,
I played the 5th.
Hitchcock, dude.
I played the 5th on that. This is a horror household of mine, so
I'm a huge horror movie fan too. Listen,
I can't speak ill.
That's fine. I mean, I enjoyed it enough to watch 7 of them. I haven't seen Jason Takes Manhattan yet.
Well, actually, Vaughn, I got to tell you, I stop at 7.
8 really?
Terrible. Well, I'm from Jersey originally, and it's funny.
Oh, me too. I'm from Jersey.
Yeah. I know. They take Camp Crystal Lake to a river to get to Manhattan. And I remember seeing it as a kid. I was like, what the? There was no outlet from Camp Crystal Lake. But not only that, I think 7's a great ending, even though they're all hokey. It's fun. It's like
7 I actually liked.
It's a great. I love the care. I love that one too, and it's actually one of the best faces that Jason has in that
it's
movie.
the best character design Jason has
100%.
ever had in his history. I
100%.
think
Yeah.
overall might be the best one, but
Which
Seth
one?
Kane Hodder. I met Kane Hodder at a con in New Jersey. Actually, he was really
That's
cool.
awesome.
Oh, nice.
Kane Hodder was so cool. But yeah, no, I mean, I look, I love those movies, but I also don't think they're as good. Also, I think Michael Myers beat the crap out of Jason, but that's a topic for a different.
Yeah, that's a topic for another stream. Maybe we'll do a horror stream or something. And
I'd be down.
Yeah, but like I said, they're cheesy, but they're fun. It's like McDonald's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's no. I don't think anybody here had said that they're they're eyebrow flicks, dude.
No, they're. I know that. No, I know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I do like that this brings out that vibe because it's like a good thing because we have all the replicas here, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, so
well, it's funny.
I love that.
That guy right there is, I don't want to get into what his story arc is, but it's less Jason-y than there's a character that I do have. I have a slasher in my story that I can't wait. That is actually shown in. There's a picture of him in the campaign, but yeah. And speaking to Vaughn's thing about coming up with a mask, it's a pain in the ass. But I came up with a welder's hood that I found online that was like from the 20s that has like circular eye holes instead of like the square, which they've used before in movies with the metal hood. So I tried to evoke a little bit of that Jason and the Town That Dreaded Sundown look with this guy. But yeah, there's a slasher in this book too that pops up. So
would you say this is a fairly graphic novel, like in terms of like gore and horror, or is it like mild?
It's mild. I mean, I would say this whole thing is rated R. You know what I mean? And I think it's rated R with the sensibilities of,
just more mature themes.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's mature themes, but it's not like super gory. There is some gore, especially in this issue because I am introducing the slasher guy, but I don't just show gore for gore's sake.
There's a reason. It's like
and going to Vaughn's point of horror stuff like Halloween or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is a good movie. Don't knock that one.
Oh, I'm not, dude.
No, I'm kidding.
I have great taste in film.
We're having a horror movie fight. Oh no.
No.
But I like all the movies.
No, I'm just kidding. But to the point of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, if you watch that now, and if you've never seen it before, there's nary a spot of blood in that whole movie.
Right. But it feels visceral. Like that one kill. You know what I find funny too? It's called Chainsaw Massacre. I think there's like one kill with the chainsaw.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So funny. But yeah, that's I showed my wife who had never seen it before. Who's like, I'll watch it, and she's like, oh, it's actually a good movie, and there's no blood. She was always under the assumption that a lot of these flicks are just gore for gore's sake. Which some of them are. I mean, there's those too.
I'm not opposed to it at all. I was just
no, not at all.
Yeah. Because I've read Clive Barker stuff, and I'm like, I don't know how much more gory you can get.
For sure.
I love. He's a werewolf, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I'm pretty sure it is. I like that because I remember someone on Twitter I was in passing was saying, there's been a lot of werewolf comics, and I'm like, look at this. Almost like it's they need to be seen more. Is just the thing. They need more love. But they are there, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot, and it's funny. There are a lot of. Belmont, you have one as well, right, brother?
Yeah, I never intended to have one. Mike just included that character in the story.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. So mine's I love seeing all the different variations of how people draw their werewolves and stuff.
Yes.
But yeah, mine's not. It's not a werewolf story, so to speak, but there is a werewolf in it. Almost like I don't know if you guys have read the book Talisman.
I have not.
Rob and Stephen King.
I have not.
No.
Good book. I'm sure that I think what's that guy's name who's done all those great Netflix horror shows. Can't think of his name right now. He's actually adapted Dr. Sleep, which was really good. But anyway, I think he's doing a Talisman TV show, which should be awesome after he does The Dark Tower.
Nice.
And then there's my slasher.
Yeah, awesome. I'm so excited. It's so cool. I like that you have the reflection in the mirror. Like this is like exactly what you would expect for something with horror too. Like you have the mirror where you see the reactions and stuff, not, it's
right.
Oh, I love that. Very great shot.
Appreciate it.
Very nice. You got the team here. Very cool. So there are a total of 4 of you.
Yes.
Very cool. I love when you guys are able to get a team together. It's not easy. It's not.
No.
Wrangling people is one of the toughest parts, I think.
For sure.
But the
sure.
thing is, it's also like now that I've got my flow going, like you're what 3 issues in, I'm sure it's much easier. Like,
oh yeah.
I tell my creative team, like, things will flow better in issue 2. Like now that we have,
you got to match your personalities, your time, you know,
sure.
like how to read people, like, because how one person speaks isn't always the same as another. Like everyone has their own individual language when they're describing stuff too.
The collaborative effort for comics is what, you know, even though I'm the writer, I'm the penciler, I'm the inker. But I still love the collaborative effort. That's why I love tool coloring. I love the letters that Devison puts on. I love the cover stuff. But I think that's part of the joy for me with the comics is actually the collaborative stuff. Like I'd love to do, you know, a story where I write it and somebody else draws it as well. But that's, you know, I'm sure, you know, you guys have had, well, I've had issues too, trying to have somebody draw something and you're like, where's this dude at? You know, like you were saying, you know, Vaughn, wrangling people is hard with this stuff.
Yes.
So, but once you get that team going, it's nice.
Yes. And I admire everyone who's able to do it. I'm like, I will get there. One day I'll get there too.
Yeah.
I love, this is a great price too. $10 plus shipping.
$10 is very good.
Yeah.
How many pages is the issue?
34 for that one.
Wow.
34? Okay. Wow. That's really
I sort of do my Kickstarters and my crowdfunders. Like I would love to get, you know, a decent number so I can get a big print run, and then everything that is sold after. So everybody that gets the issue through the crowdfunders gets extra artwork. So my whole point is to make it that it's exclusive. If you're going to pay $10 for a comic, which I think is a little bit pricey, but we're doing crowdfunding. It's not a storefront. Right. So I think when you get the stuff, you get extra stuff, you get extra prints you wouldn't get, you get extra artwork within the comic. And then I would like to actually print up stuff with less artwork and then be able to sell it for, you know, a more comic booky price once the crowdfunder's done. But that way you still feel like you're getting something substantial if you get it through the book. Because I think, you know, $10 sounds like a good deal for crowdfunding, which I think it is. But I'd ultimately love to sell these issues for like $4, you know, later on without the extra artwork and with, you know, less of a card stock on the cover.
Oh, gotcha. So like more traditional.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, I'm trying to use crowdfunding as less of a means to garner, you know, just a paycheck more than I am to get a big print run that I could sell these later on at conventions. And
that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
I'm printing at least 1,000 copies, depending on how many I sell.
Nice, dude.
Which is good because I've already sold like 400. So, but
that's awesome,
but I mean, yeah, I'm with you on that. I think people use crowdfunding as the means and the ends. I think it should be a means to an end. I think it's the thing is that, for example, even though we're not using it, Kickstarter is called that for a reason, right? You're starting it.
Yes.
But that's not where you're making the money. It's where you're raising the money.
Exactly.
If you make, I'm not saying if you can't make money off crowdfunding.
Yeah, and I'm not saying you shouldn't.
Oh, yeah. And it's totally hard. Like I always say, you earn that money. You get yourself a little bit of, you know, pay in there because you still got bills to pay too. You know.
No,
you put the team, like if you're the creator, you put the rest of the team first.
Yeah.
And then
like
I'm probably not seeing, you know, but that's okay because those are my goal. You know, my goal, and I think most people should operate. I think. Most people ideally, because let's be honest, we've all done it. How many times have you explained crowdfunding to people and their eyes gloss over?
Yeah,
like I want your comic, and they're like, cool. I'm like, oh, you could get it now. Well, how did I do that? And I'm like, well,
I know.
I literally walked people through tutorials, and then I just see they just contributed a number. I'm like, you didn't get. All right, I'll just write you down.
I was actually selling at a very small horror convention in Michigan. I'm like, awesome. I have my Kickstarter. I'm gonna see if I can get anybody, you know, pull them into this. And I think I was able to get a couple of them to back it on the spot, which was nice. It was just a little awkward at first. I'm like, yeah, you can back it today. It's really great, but you won't get it for another month or a couple months, you know? So I was like, I'm not trying to scam you. It's just like raising some money to get a product made, you know, don't worry. But so I was surprised it actually worked. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So I just need it. Yeah. So if you guys are ever doing events, definitely share it with people. You can get some more attention that way. And I love this cover too.
Awesome.
So are Are the two in the bottom zombies, and this guy looks like a ninja to me, but I don't know if that's correct.
That's sort of a joke in the book. If the cover's a little bit more actiony looking, not actiony, but I guess like superhero-y. In the book, he's less that. But it is a running joke about the ninja look that he has. But he's one of the main characters as well. His name is Hellbound.
Nice.
That's his moniker. And you'll find out why he has that. But those two guys down there actually ghosts, visions that our main character Maureen McKeown has in the first issue. And she starts to have these visions, and once she has these dark visions that are sort of threatening her, a stranger shows up on her doorstep, changing her life forever, and then she's embroiled in this whole giant race against time while the apocalypse is happening around them. But yeah, it's these are two ghosts and a character called Hellbound.
Gotcha. So do the ghosts, like, do they manifest in like more physical, threatening forms then?
They can, for sure. That's actually something that is explored in further issues.
Well, that's horrifying. It's like, oh crap. Oh no. Oh, I love this. Nice establishing page. Very cool.
Thank you.
So I like this. I do like that we get aerial view of what's happening, and there's more to it,
Right.
Very nice. I love these colors, though. Your wife did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'll let her know for sure.
I think what a lot of color, because I was very picky with the art, and that's one thing I'm going to work on for the future is being less so, but I was very picky, and I think it worked out with artists. And I think one thing a lot of colorists don't do today, where a lot of colorists will like overdo it, or they're what I like about this is it's easy to read every item, everything on the page you could see. There's a lot of people where it's like they go too hard and it starts to meld together. And it's like, man, just like say what you want. Like I know people like often I'll prefer modern coloring technology, but it's like when they used the colors back in the day, it was always I could tell what was going on. I don't think I ever really looked at an old comic for the most part and was like, huh? What's the background? What's the front? But there have been times I've been reading current stuff and I'm like,
that's why I'm like, I don't know if I can trust myself with color because you get so caught up in the detail, and you kind of forget that the color is supposed to help push the story along and help you direct your eye. And you're not like making a photorealistic thing. And the color does just that here. Your attention's not like wandering too much. I'm like pointing at my screen. You can't see me, but
I think it helps. She doesn't come from a world of comics, and she comes from traditional stuff that I think adds her own, and I think there's sort of like a feminine flair to it too, which I really enjoy. She has this cool, palette that she chooses, that she picks from, that I just adore it. Yeah. I mean, not because I love her.
It's okay to be a little biased.
No, I mean, I wish it was. It was. If we weren't together, I'd still be like, hey, could you color my comic?
Yeah, like, here it gets more muted. Like even the trees are orange. Like they're not competing with this nice pink sky.
No, and there's the clouds. There's like everything is distinct. Okay, that's the reflection. That's there. It's really I think like color. There's so much in comics that you don't, especially. And I say this as someone with no artistic talent. Like even down to lettering. Like there's stuff more. My letter will be explaining. Well, I do it here for like, and I don't even think about it. It's like all these little things you don't think about because you're not supposed to. When you're reading a comic, you're not supposed to. But when I'm creating it, it's actually all of this deepens my love for the medium.
You like seeing how much work is actually in one single page. It's crazy.
And then it probably reads seamless. Like, like I could tell what's going on at a glance. But I imagine that was a lot of work.
A steward for comics, Vaughn, that I think even if you don't have the artistic eye, so to speak, I think what works and what doesn't work. You know what I mean? So I think you have an eye for that stuff. Because I mean, I've seen your book. Your book looks great.
Yeah, I have a directing background too.
Which helps. You know what I mean? For sure. But I think just your love of comics. How much you read them. Look at your shelf. I know you're always talking about them. The history of them.
You study. You don't just read them. You study them.
Exactly.
Yeah, I started going back. I mean, even like I tweeted out earlier. One thing I feel like people are afraid to put too many panels on the page, and I was afraid of that. I was like, oh my god, the letters are going to be too much. And then I just got a page back. My letter just made my dialogue that I was told by everyone was too much. I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah,
it's that.
Don't listen to that either, because I think people also forget it's a comic book. You're supposed to read. If you want a picture book, then get a picture book. Because I know some people are like, "Oh, there's too many words." And
the 90s, man.
If it flows right, it's okay.
Well, that's the thing. You know,
and most of the time, you're not just writing a novel in one panel just because you're
exactly.
If it flows, hey, it works, man. You
yeah,
know?
As long as you're not just filling up. It's not just dialogue for dialogue's sake. As long as it's pushing the story forward and giving new information with each story beat, then I think it's fine, but like some people, like Vaughn said, the 90s comics, that boom of image stuff was cool, but it was never, I can't look back fondly and be like, oh, I remember, my favorite Spawn story. You know what I mean?
Witchblade, I love Witchblade, but there were times I'd be like, that's beautiful. Like Michael Turner's art, beautiful, but I'm like, even right now, all right, so I'm opening this. Does this need to be like some of these, like oh my God, I swear to God, the first 3 pages I opened to were double page spreads. I swear to God. But it's like, okay, like she looks gorgeous in this dress. Does that need 2 pages of story?
Right.
It's stuff like that. Whereas I was just looking at Cockrum earlier. If he had a splash or a spread, it was because you needed to take a moment and look at the action. And I think that's why. So ironically, I say this, my comic starts with the splash and then 2 spreads. but
there's a reason
for it. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Well, it's like, I just want to point out here too, I don't know if it was intentional or not. He's got the green shirt, then it's green, then you got more green with his eyes. Like the color just flows really well.
No,
I think it helps.
That's all her. She's got an eye for that stuff. I mean, she really does.
I think it works really well.
Look at that.
Ooh, look at this.
Nail.
It's like an intense scene change too. Like this.
Seamless.
This is hard to do. She's got that purple, like doomish color. Like that. That's not something. It's hard to do.
No, for sure.
This looks fantastic. This definitely sets a mood.
Awesome.
I love this, and the blood splatter. Oof, I like that grit.
That's really good, man. That's really good. Yeah, I mean, also one nice shout out to you have a redhead male. I feel like you don't see a ton of those in comic.
That is
true. Usually villains, I feel like.
Uh-oh. There was silence in response.
Oh no. I mean,
he's not a villain? Okay.
There's nothing. Yeah, no, you're good.
Okay.
You're good.
I was like, uh-oh.
I was just listening.
No, I didn't know if he's
No. He's you find out in the story. There's Did
I guess?
I mean, it's funny. He wasn't a redhead for a villain. I was actually born with red hair, which is funny, which might say something about myself. But no, there's it's not a hidden secret thing. But yeah, I
swear to God, I did not know this.
I think it's hilarious. But there's also other redhead dudes in here that aren't villains. So I don't want to paint every ginger as I am half Irish. So I don't want to paint.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Your family is like looking at you.
Exactly.
So what are they eating here?
Little possum, dead possum. Or armadillo. That's a possum.
I was just listening to someone tell a story that was a similar situation, but it was way worse in real life. So I'm like, oh man, this is intense. So I like that the glow here. This is just really visually really nice.
Awesome, thank you.
So I have to not read the whole page because I would like to, but if you guys, whoever's watching, go check this out and read the pages and stuff. And this looks really, really good, especially if you like horror and stuff. I think this is right up most horror fans' alley.
Yeah, it looks great, dude.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, brother.
This is fantastic. So for this is all from book 3, correct? These panels?
That's all from book 1.
Oh, book 1. I'm sorry, book 1. Okay. Ooh. So this is the introduction. Oh man.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh no. All right. And is she the one that sees the ghosts? Is that correct?
She is. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh boy. She's got a lot happening here.
For sure.
Oh man, that is really creepy to wake up and then. Does she kind of get an idea of why she's seeing them already?
So she doesn't. She has a peduncular hallucinosis. I think it's what it's called. I wrote this a long time ago. I gotta check the exact pronunciation, but that's it's something where somebody has really vivid hallucinations. And she's had them before, but she's never seen things like this. She's seen sort of friendly visions before. and her mother had just passed. That's why she's in this house right now. She's
Mhm.
getting everything settled and getting ready to sell her mother's house. So she's down from Jersey in Florida, and she's having these visions, and she has no idea why.
Wow. That's a pretty intense one.
And she's taking medication for it, which I mean, I don't really get into.
That's a great shot. I think that explains a lot. You can tell like there's something wrong. She's kind of not looking at it fondly, and then she's trying to go back to sleep, and then she's like, I think that this alone tells you a lot about
Awesome.
where she is mentally,
Awesome.
and that there's something different about her for sure. So that's very clear. I
Sweet.
love that.
Thanks.
And 2, the werewolf guy. I love this. This is great. Oh, and there's our great ninja, but not ninja. I like this design. I like this belt too. Is this reflective of like something from his past, or
it is? Yeah, that's
okay.
it,
Cool.
it's yes, exactly.
Very neat. Oh, that's gonna be awesome to find out about. And then she gets to see more ghosts. And this is exactly what we were talking about, where he comes in and that's what is like the catalyst to her new future, basically.
Exactly.
Of what's gonna happen.
For sure.
Oh, that is awesome. This is very cool. And then the werewolf comes in. Oh, man. So are these just regular soldiers here? Or are they kind of like
they're
unit?
sort of they're part of a private military corporation, a security firm, which you learn more about in issue 3. But they are sort of going off the grid, doing something that they shouldn't be doing in issue 1 and 2, and you start to find out more about that within issue 3 and 4. But yeah, there are the redheaded bad guy. Yeah, they're the bad guys, so to speak. Just one of the bad guys in the story.
Wow. Oh, look at all this. I love that you showed that, because that is like great. It's like no spoilers, but you can see how many pages are done. It's getting that trust from viewers.
Exactly.
Nice.
Just so they know that it's flats are there. We just got to finish the finishes on there, and like I said, there's a whole new set of characters that are introduced, and yeah, it's a fun story. Everybody that's read it so far has enjoyed it. I've heard good feedback, so hopefully more people can jump on and check it out.
Yes, definitely. This looks really interesting, and I love the horror element. This looks so crazy. Like, what happened now? Is this like I won't spoil it. We just have to get the book and find out.
It's just it was that was actually design work that I was doing for one of my characters in the story that I'm putting up for sale on there. But she's there's vampires in the story. There's interdimensional beings. There's werewolves. There's ghosts. There's military dudes. It's a little bit of everything, but it's been thought through. So it's not haphazardly put together. But it's just essentially my love story of everything that I grew up watching and reading as a kid. So, and my spin on it.
I think from what I've seen so far from all these pages, I think everything looks like it has its place and it's not just like thrown together haphazardly.
Awesome. Sweet.
So that is really awesome. I mean, it's pretty clear, like you have all these elements, but nothing's like competing with each other where it doesn't make sense. It's coming off very cohesive to me. Like,
awesome.
So I'm excited for this. This looks really cool. I love it. All right, we're gonna watch your trailer now.
Sure.
Because I want to make sure that gets noticed. Is there any like timestamps or anything I should fast forward to, or is it just straight?
Straightforward should be fine.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Awesome. I'm going to play that. I'm going to mute everyone just so there's no feedback, because that's what works. So Right. I'm giving feedback, I'm sure. Give me 1 second here. Mute. All right, there we go. I love that music with this. I think it's perfect. I think that establishes, like, it gives that nice horror vibe and that mystery, and that's perfect.
Awesome. Yeah, there's a guy named White Bat on YouTube, and I'm sure a couple other places that does all his that has a bunch of stuff that's free to use, and he does great like horror type music, which is awesome. So all credit to him.
Nice. I think you did a great job. That's perfect. It's nice when you get the music to match the tone of your story.
Right?
Yeah. It's like you don't want like bubblegum pop or something with this. It's just not going to work. But I think that's fantastic. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you for sharing this. I think this is, I hope you get the Fund My Comic goal, but this is fantastic. So make sure to come check this out, guys. You can get all 3 books and catch up for a very great price. That's fantastic and plus shipping. And then you got some extra tiers down here. If you want a PDF issue, so if you're a little tight in cash, that's an amazing price as well. You got a digital catch-up tier, which is fantastic. I might get that. You have the physical, which is, again, a phenomenal price. And then you have some extra stuff down here if you want to grab more goodies. So definitely go check this stuff out. Fantastic. Thank you again. Yeah, thank you again for taking the time out of your day.
I like those
show
colors.
Yeah. Yes.
So thank you.
They're just all great. All right. So we are going to now move on to Belmont, Justin Belmont. We're going to go to Smokes the Fox 1 and Weaponized Werewolf 2. So we're going to do a lot of werewolves tonight, which is fantastic. So first of all, I've seen this around as well, and this looks really interesting. I like the style. It's definitely like it stands out. It's more cartoony, which I love, and this looks really cool. So tell us a little bit about Smokes the Fox.
He was a character that I created when I was about 15 years old. It was around the same time I discovered marijuana. And
Oh no.
I used to collect baseball cards, but I used to go to the comic book shop to get the baseball cards. And then one day, I just started noticing all the covers and everything, and then eventually just became, a customer buying comics and stopped getting baseball cards.
Oh.
And one day I was just sitting in my room, hanging out with my friend, and we were drawing. He could draw a lot better than me, but I was just fucking around sketching, and I drew this like fox head, and I gave him like a Una eye, kind of like Cerebus has.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a big influence on me, that book. And so I gave him those eyes, and then I threw a pipe in his mouth, and then I drew a little X on the pipe, and then I called him Smokes, and that was it. And then over the years, I just started sketching him here and there, but I wasn't the greatest artist. But over the years, kept eating at me. You got to do something with that character that you made when you're like a kid. And it's always in the back of my mind. You got to do something. You got to do something. And then in 2017, I decided, just to pull the trigger.
Nice.
And I walked up to Mike Barron at the Rocky Mountain Con. And
oh my gosh.
I just asked. I pitched him right there. I got this idea for a mutant pot smoking fox. You want to write my comic? You know what I mean? I just threw it out there just like that, and he's like, "I'm in." And I didn't know if he was kidding, joking or anything like that, but he was serious. And about 2 weeks later, I got the script in my hands. I talked with him on the phone, told him what I was looking for, how it was gonna go, what I wanted to happen in the issue, and it was pretty easy working with him. He just handed me a script, and I just had like one little small thing I didn't really like. We just tweaked that, but other than that, it's pretty easy working with him. And I never wrote a comic book before. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't want to spend all this money on artwork and get all these artists together if my story sucked. But I knew what the story was going to be, but the dialogue was going to be, hard for me. And I wanted to put out a really good, comic book. And so I enlisted a lot of big names for this. That cover right there you're looking at, that's by Gerhard. He was the artist.
Awesome.
That's
I love
right
the action in that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like I love it. It's like this is going to be a fun ride. You can tell it's going to be actiony and crazy and intense and fun, And I love that you were saying that this character was just in the back of your head for years, because as weird as it sounds, I kind of think that when you create stuff and the characters are like, no, I'm speaking to you. You need to let me out. It's time for me. You gotta do something with me. It's like they take a life of their own type thing. And I like that, how it
Yeah, right
came to
there's the
be.
main cover that was drawn by Don Perlin and Bob Layton. Don
Ah,
Perlin just passed away recently,
yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
just like
that's
a
sad.
few days ago.
Yeah.
It really
Oh,
hurt me
wow.
actually. There's been a few artists that have passed that I know of, but this one really, I really felt it. I was a
Hmm.
friend of his. We used to talk on Facebook, in the Messenger, and I showed him my comic and my idea for my pot smoking fox, and he was like, "I'll draw that." And I got him to do the pencils for the cover, and then I talked Bob Layton to inking it.
Wow.
That's so cool,
Nice.
man.
'Cause
That's awesome.
I got married, and Bob Layton said he wanted to do something small for my campaign, but he didn't say exactly what he would do. So I just asked him if he would do the inks on the cover, and he said that was fine. So it's kind of a tribute to his Ghost Rider.
Hmm.
Don Perlin used to draw Ghost Rider back in the days. Then I had
Oh,
the colorist. Actually, Gerhard colored this one, and
The colors are great.
Yeah.
I had him add that flame in the back to kind of give it a little bit. It's hard to see because of
Oh,
the
yeah, there it
credits,
is.
but it's in there. I had him add that to give it kind of like Ghost Rider tribute in there.
Yeah, I think that's lovely. That's really something to really treasure too. To have someone do that for you, and he passed away. It makes it more.
I just
There's
been
like
a
a
big
deep connection there.
Yeah, I just been a big fan of his since about
Yeah.
I don't know 15 or 16. I discovered him on Bloodshot during his Valiant days.
Oh yeah.
And then I didn't really know about his Ghost Rider or his Defenders stuff or anything like that. But later on, then I learned about his Werewolf by Night and his Moon Knight. He's the co-creator of Moon Knight as well as Werewolf by Night,
Very cool. That's very good.
Bloodshot. So he's just a very talented man, and it's just sad to see him go.
Hmm. Yeah, it is always sad to see that. It's a really nice cover. I love this. This is just there's so much going on, and it looks awesome. So he did fantastic.
Thank
And
you.
that's definitely something to keep forever. you know.
For sure.
Yeah, I own the cover to that. I had to make sure I had that.
Jeez.
I'll never
This-
part with that.
Oh yeah, definitely not. That's a keeper for life. I like this cover. This one made me laugh.
And that's the Gerhard cover. I wasn't sure which. I like both covers so much. I wasn't sure which one was going to be the main versus the variant.
Hmm.
But
I
this
like
one
them.
is the variant because I got it second, so I just decided that's the variant since it was made
Makes sense.
second.
it's a simple cover, but there's so much in there.
I know it made me laugh.
Yeah.
I love the pen detail. This is
Yeah.
gorgeous, like work here. This is really nice. I mean, it's funny too. Like
Yeah.
a lot of personality in
Yeah.
him. That's
Well-
being shown right here.
I saw Gerhard at a convention, and he had this print. It was like a Wolverine first appearance reimagined cover, and it had all the Canadian animals in the background because he's from Canada, Gerhard.
Mhm.
So I kind of used that idea, and I said, but instead of Canadian animals, since this takes place in Colorado, how about some nocturnal Colorado animals? And I gave him a
Oh.
list, like the black bear and the horned
Mhm.
owl. And there's also a red fox by the headlight,
Oh, yep. Right. Here he is.
and there's a bunch of different types of bats and whatever the hell those birds are. I'm not sure, but I gave him a list just look online, for all the nocturnal animals, and I knew the black bear would be like the
You could tell.
the best,
Yeah.
the coolest one, I guess, and the owl.
That's a really great attention to detail. Is you're not just saying put animals; it's specific to that location. I like that.
Yeah, he's known for drawing detailed backgrounds and for his animals. So that's why he was just the perfect one for the job. He actually helped me redesign my character too. 'Cause
Oh.
Originally, he just wears like a wife beater and a hoodie,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that was kind of generic, and I wanted to change it up a little bit. So I came up with the idea of adding that nom, or that kind of like a Rambo,
Yeah.
like military surplus coat,
I love that jacket on.
Yeah, I think
And,
that's a great detail.
And then Gerhardt added that patch on there, the 2nd Infantry patch, which I wasn't really familiar with because I'm not really familiar with, like military branches and stuff like that. I had to look
Mhm.
it up. But I just love how it came out. I was glad that is part of my project. He's
Yes.
just a good guy.
Yeah, those are good details to have. I think it kind of gives you an idea of how this character might be. So tell us a little bit about Smokes the Fox. What kind of adventures is he going on here?
The story takes place in this underground military base. If you're familiar with Dulce Base, it's supposedly they call it Area 52.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly there's this underground military base under New Mexico somewhere where they have aliens and they're doing experiments on humans, DNA kind of type experiments and all kinds of crazy shit. There's been whistleblowers that came out of there. So I kind of used the lore of that for my story.
Nice.
So Smokes is in this base. He's locked up. He's half human. He's got a human mom, and
Oh.
the rest of it's Fox DNA. But the only reason why it ever happened is because they had the help from the gray aliens.
Ooh.
Oh.
Are you into that kind of stuff? Because I'm
Yes.
big in alien. Okay. Element of culture.
Oh, I'm into it. Believe me.
So the aliens are kind of like, they're not the captives. He is. Ooh.
Yes,
Who's the guy that had his finger shot off at Dulce Base that he said? Do you know what I'm talking
that
about?
was Phil Schneider.
That's it, Phil Schneider, yeah.
He said he was like, in some, I don't know if he said Dulce base, but he was at some underground. It was just an underground base. I don't know if maybe he did say that.
I think it was Dulce. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. It's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah, and
dude.
he had a shootout supposedly, and then they shot like a laser beam and it like hit him. And then he showed his hand or whatever. It was crazy.
That's 2024. At this point, I believe I'm just like anything's possible now. Right.
That little gray alien is Sepoy.
Okay.
He's kind of like the shot caller in the base. He even has higher rank than the humans, and basically he's just he's just talking about these hybrids that they're making. Smokes is not the only hybrid they made. So Cheney right there, he's also a hybrid, but he's not your standard werewolf where he howls into the moon and transforms from a human to a werewolf. He is always a werewolf because he's half human and half wolf, and he was bred and he was born just like a regular human, just came out of a mother's womb. And
that's a quite intense backstory that they have. So are these special headsets they use to communicate with the aliens?
Yes, the aliens don't communicate like usually here on television where they have like telekinesis or whatever, talk to you in your head. You have to wear these special headsets to understand what the boy is saying.
That's actually pretty clever because that way, so he won't know what they're saying at all.
No, and Smokes doesn't really know what's. Well, he learns a lot from watching TV. Since he's such a good boy, he gets a TV in his cell.
Aww.
So he does learn a lot, and he picks up a lot of things, and he discovers shows like what the hell is that one with the gang, the bikers gang?
Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, Sons of Anarchy, like that. And that's how he got into motorcycles. So he's able to escape the facility because he's so intelligent, and then he discovers marijuana and the biker life. Kind of, he steals a motorcycle from one of these biker gangs that he runs across. It's just hanging out at a bar.
Nice. The cross hatching on this is really, really nice. It's very beautiful. I'm like, was looking at the line quality here. It's just very nice. I love this.
Rodney Ramos is the inker on this book. He's been around for 35 years plus, inking comics, drawing comics.
Oh, I didn't know Rodney did this. That's awesome.
Yeah, Rodney Ramos is a great guy.
I've worked with him. Yeah,
very nice. Yeah, he definitely adds a good element to this, like the shadow. Like this is a great shot. I mean, this is just, you kind of get the tone that he's maybe up to no good, maybe being a little mischievous, but the lighting's great. The cross hatching really adds that shadow to it. It's very, very nice. This is great.
Yeah,
We spent about 3 years developing this book, believe it or not. Both books.
Oh. This is his first time.
Yeah, so after he escapes the facility, he runs into some teenage campers, and they fall asleep, and he reaches in their tent and grabs a bag of weed and a lighter and tries it out.
I love his design, like the one eyeball. You know, I mean, I know it's
Mhm.
not one eyeball, but like it's just iconic. Like,
Yep.
it's just a great design, dude. It's awesome.
Yes, I love that kind of style. It makes him stand out from everybody else too.
Yep,
I love it.
it's really good.
And this is the biker. Oh boy. So that's him. I'm curious if does he get into a fight with them too? It might be a little spoilery, so you don't have to answer, but I'm curious.
No, he's outside. He's outside hanging out, like you saw.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But he was in there earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, is that an homage to that? Yeah, I like the Iron Man cover homage. That's one of the ones I've been meaning to do, to read. Right? Am I getting that right? If you scroll down.
Oh, wait, what?
That's Demon in a Box. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I was kind of busting Bob Layton's balls.
Oh.
But I really do love that cover, and it's actually one of my favorite covers, most iconic cover I think of all, one of the top iconic covers of all time, at least top 10, top 5 to me. And then I thought it was funny, and I came up one day, I was this high, and I was like, and I wanted to do some kind of like tribute cover, homage cover, you want to call them. And this idea came to me, and then I sketched it out, a quick, like really rough sketch, and I sent it to my artist Lee Oakes, and I said, can you draw this? And I gave him, a copy of the original cover that Bob Layton drew, and that's what it came out.
It's awesome. I like the detail. You got the lovely devil's lettuce here, and then here.
Yeah, I didn't have. That's the only part that wasn't in my design. He added that part. I didn't think of that.
When they can add like a little bit of extra detail like that, it really does make the cover. It's perfect.
Well, I had to come up with an idea for the helmet because Smokes doesn't wear a helmet, and I didn't really want to have a motorcycle helmet. So I was like, what would work there? And I thought a mannequin head, and then put the sunglasses on there. And then I wanted the sunglasses to kind of be the Iron Man colors.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I chose gold for the head and then the red for the glasses.
That's perfect.
So it kind of gives it that Iron Man feel a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It turned out really well.
Whiskey bottle. We have the bong.
And his pipe. I like the X on the pipe. That is pretty neat. It's like an extra touch, It's not just a pipe. It's got the little detail.
It's supposed to be the hooked X, if you're familiar with that. If you watch History Channel.
Not very often. I don't watch TV.
It's like a regular X. It's like a regular X, but then it has one little tiny little line on one of the on the top right part of the X.
Oh,
It makes a Y.
Oh yeah.
And it was used by like the Masons or whatever. I don't know, but I just thought it looked cool, and they're always talking about it like on Unearthed or whatever, stuff like that. Even Ancient Aliens, I think, talked about it. So originally it was a regular X, and then I turned it into the hooked X when I had them redesigned.
That's awesome.
But
that's an extra level of detail.
Yeah, you really can't see it unless it's up close, like this shot. It just happens to be a close-up shot.
But when you do see it and you know what it is, it's like, oh, I know that. That's really neat. When you can add an extra level, it's like, oh, that X makes it unique, but that hooked X makes it even more unique. That's a great detail to add.
Now I think I'm going to do that every issue. I'm going to add a homage. And that was the back cover, the back inside cover of the book.
This is the oldest surviving drawing. Oh,
that's how I draw.
I love that. No, that's totally fine. I love it. I think that's awesome. I like seeing the original like inspiration drawings because it has a lot of the raw idea there, and it's just cool to see what started it all.
And it still looks like he captured your idea, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah.
The way Smokes looks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a few years ago, I got a package in the mail from my mom, and I opened it up, and it's a folder, a real old folder that I used to have in my room. And tucked inside that folder was this drawing, and also a letter from Dave Sim that I wrote when I was a kid to him. And I had a drawing of Cerebus, like a headshot on the bottom of the letter.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking for that for years. I could not find it. I was, it was really important to me and I really wanted it. And it was tucked in that folder. as well as this drawing. So it was like a Christmas miracle that year. It was like the best present I got in like
Aw.
decades.
That's awesome.
That is. That's why moms keep everything. They always have that stuff. That
If
is
you
so
see that
cool
kid,
to
if you
see.
see that drawing right there, originally there was like supposed to be like a geeky, nerdy kid that
Mhm.
hung out with Smokes.
What's up, sissy?
I kind of like got rid of that element later on.
Makes sense. I think it turned out. I like that you still see that idea right here.
It's funny. As soon as you said that, because I've been thinking about this, I did an homage for issue 1, and I'm wondering if I should do them for others. Oh, Barry McLean Jr. I know him.
Yeah, Barry McLean Jr. is my neighbor.
Really?
Whoa.
I didn't know that when I hired him. He was working with Mike. Listen, I was working with him and Mike Barron, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mike Barron was working with him. It was called Cue Ball.
Yeah.
And then and I checked out his artwork. I thought it was cool. I know he lived in Colorado somewhere. I was in Colorado. I don't know exactly where. But I told him, I said, hey, I got this werewolf story. Would you be interested? And Mike Barron did the script. And he said that he's a big fan of horror. So he wanted to work on it.
Maybe.
Awesome. This is really awesome.
I had to mail him some sketch cards one day, and I asked for his address. And I said, fuck, man, I can just walk that over to you. You're my neighbor.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he's actually closer than the post office or the mailbox.
That's crazy. What a small world. That's like,
yeah.
Now I have to
What's
wonder.
the chances of that? There's 2 million people in Denver.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Oh
2
my
million.
gosh.
That's where I met him. I met him at a Denver con.
Wow.
Yeah, he's at the Denver Con every year. But this cover wasn't drawn by Barry. This cover was drawn by Tim Vigil.
Mm.
And it was inked by Tim Vigil as well, and it was colored by Zevius and Kyle Ritter.
It's an awesome werewolf.
Nice. Yes.
I just let him go, balls to the wall, whatever he wants to do, whatever he wanted to do. He's kind of a gory.
Oh man, the artists love to hear that. Do whatever you want. All right.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to hold him back. I know.
Yeah, I'm trying to get better at doing that.
Your sister trying to.
Oh, sorry. That's awesome. I'm sure he appreciated that. Like, it is hard to be like, I want this, but then do what you want, like Vaughn was saying, because it's you don't want to be restrictive, but you want to make sure your idea of what you want to come, to be produced is there. So I think this is really fantastic.
What happened was the production of Smokes was going kind of slow, and instead of making Smokes like a bit longer book, I decided to split the books into 2 and have Weaponized Werewolf. It was kind of like the prequel to Smoke, so it takes place about 15 years prior.
Oh, that's nice. You get more of an established what's happening with the story and the world with that. That's nice. Ooh, and this is number 0. So this is like prequel to all that. And
that's Barry's work right there. That's the first page he submitted to me. I was blown away.
It's awesome.
This is a great shot right here. I mean, your eye just goes right to this facility, and you immediately can tell this may not be a good facility. It's like there's like nothing.
Yeah, Rodney Ramos inked this one as well, and I thought they were a good pair together.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Look at that shot where he's getting into the door with his retina.
That's
this
awesome.
Looks fantastic. This is a really nice shot. Oh. And I like the paneling too is set up really nice. And
so this book's kind of like a horror book.
Yes.
She's gonna be knocked up by the military.
Oh man! And this is that little shitty alien again.
Yeah, that's a boy.
rude alien. Oh,
so you're gonna see a lot of the same characters in both books.
It's awesome.
That's good because then you can tell that they've been around for a while. They have a lot of influence on the world in this story. It's establishing that in this book is a very good thing.
It looks like you guys have gotten like a big volume of work between.
Yeah, you guys do. Yeah,
which is great.
That, you got a powerhouse behind you guys.
I think, Yeah, people want. I mean, look, at the end of the day, part of why people love comics. I know people keep saying to switch to the European model, and it's like, I'm sorry, I don't. America won for a long time. the model isn't outdated. It's just we got to find a new way to keep it going.
Mhm.
But I think it's worked for 80 years, and then it just suddenly became obsolete. I don't know. I think
I'm with you.
Yeah,
like then why do I still go back and enjoy those stories? You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think people need to, and comics, one of the things is they're a great idea farm.
Well, I mean, look at what's going on with was it Skybound right now?
What's going on with Skybound?
Well, it's just they're putting out great stuff. People are going to that American model still. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not an outdated model. It's just I think there just needs to be stories that captivate people, and like your story and Belmont, your story. Hey baby, is the type of stuff that I think people want to see more of. You know, the big two still puts out great stuff, I'm sure, but I think this innovation is happening within the indie sphere. You know, I mean, Vaughn, your book looks great. Belmont, both your books look awesome, dude. It's just I think that's where it's at, guys. I'd hate to cut this short. I think it's dinner time.
No worries. Yeah.
I want to say thank you for having me on. I seriously appreciate you taking out your time, especially on this this holiday weekend. And I appreciate Vaughn, your stuff looks great. Belmont, your stuff looks great. Continued success to all of you guys.
Oh yeah.
And, I hope you guys have a great weekend.
Yeah,
good to meet you.
Right back to you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, this is fantastic. This is intense. Like, oh my gosh. I like that.
Basically testing out his skills, give him a test drive. They let him loose in the wilderness to see what he's capable of.
He's definitely capable of a lot. And we're getting the backstory for the alien too. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's telling you what's happened on his planet.
So we're getting a lot of information from this. I think that's fantastic because it's not just, the Smokes the Fox. We're already establishing that he's not a great alien. He's not here to make friends. And we're starting to get a reason why. I think that's phenomenal. And I like that the flashback or the memory of it's color coded for each panel here. I think that adds an intensity to it too. I like that a lot. This is a great campaign. This has a lot of fun in it. I love this cover. Makes me laugh. I love it. But it also has a lot of serious, intense moments in it, and you've got a great team behind you, like Mike Barron. The story is going to be fantastic, and you've got a great team to help bring these ideas to life. And you started with a fantastic idea, of the great vision, and to put that all together is no easy feat. And I think you've succeeded in that for sure. You kept your vision. You've got great people to help you bring that to life, and you brought it on. You just put it together. This is great.
Again,
Jay Lee sketches right there.
These are fantastic.
Wow. So how many issues total do you have under your belt?
I've only done 2 comics so far. I did Smokes 1 and Weaponized Werewolf 0, but I'm currently working on Smokes 2 and then another project which I haven't named yet, or I have a name for it, but I haven't disclosed it yet. But it's with Hojo. It's a 12-page book.
Nice.
That's going to be coming out when it's ready. But the script is done and it's edited, but the artwork is just starting.
I think people are going to be don't sleep on this, because I think this is going to be, it's going to blow up for sure. This is the beginning, and I can see this really, blowing up. This is going to be awesome. We'll go over your perks in a minute here too, but just everything I've seen so far, it's not just, you just threw it together. This is, every idea here, you executed it very well. It's very clear what's happening. This is really awesome. This cover makes me laugh. I know I said it 10 times by now, but it does. And you also made sure the artists had their own details in there, and it reflects what they worked on in the past.
Originally,
this is fantastic.
Originally, Smokes didn't wear shorts or any kind of bottoms, kind of like Winnie the Pooh.
Mm-hmm.
They just wear a top. And then when I asked Don Perlin to draw him, he said, "You got to put some pants on that thing." And I was like, I don't want them to have pants. And then we basically agreed on shorts.
There you go.
Compromise.
There you go. That's funny. You gotta put pants on them. But it was a creative decision. I think it kind of added more potential humor.
Yeah, now I like the shorts.
Yeah, I can do more with it. This is great. I'm curious to see what the next. Do you have like book 2 for Smokes and the next Werewolf already being worked on, or is the next project kind of related? Or
Smokes 2 is in the works.
Okay.
The fight between Smokes and Weaponized Werewolf continues in the book, and you start to learn more about the alien Sepoy and his race of aliens, and another race of aliens as well.
Ooh.
And a new female character is added who becomes a friend of Smokes, kind of like a April O'Neil, like that's something like that.
Oh,
Ooh.
nice. That's really nice.
That's always a nice touch. And look at how many characters just get better when they add a female companion. I don't know. Wolverine, even for example, they had multiple. I was with the homage cover thing. I'm now like browsing while listening. So because I'm like he had what was the one of the Power Pack kids. He had when he teamed up with Rogue, when he teamed up with Kitty Pryde. I feel like I don't know, something about adding a tough character and giving like a female companion, or even the Ninja Turtles. It always just, I don't know, like it's usually just a nice touch.
I think in some cases you can smooth out the rough edges of the male character.
Yeah.
It's not always necessary, but I can see how that could influence something,
Mm-hmm.
But I think that'll be interesting. I'm curious to see how that goes, because that.
Yeah, she replaces the nerdy kid in my original cover. So
Okay.
I
So
made
that'll be interesting too, to see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Is she going to be like the nerdy girl then, or is she going to play a more?
She's a goth chick.
Oh, okay. Well, now I'm curious to see how that dynamic plays out. That'll be really fun.
I'm not ready to reveal the cover, but I did have 2 covers made for Smokes already.
Oh, nice. Is it in here, or do you want to share?
No, I haven't showed them yet.
No,
it's just too early along. I haven't.
Oh, that's totally fine.
But
cool. I'm excited to see the next ones. So we got a lot of perks for this too.
Yeah, Weaponized Werewolf's going to take the back burner right now because I just don't have the funds to put out 3 more comic books.
Totally get it. Yeah.
Books 2 is taking the spotlight,
Mm-hmm.
the lead, and then I might offer 2 books together, Smokes 2 and the other project with me and Hojo, and kind of offer them bundled together, or you can get them separate or whatever. You can just get Smokes by itself. I might do that, make it like a double campaign again. So, or I might do 2 separate campaigns. I haven't figured it out yet. It all depends on how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's why I'm promoting right now. I'm trying to get more backers and all the money's just going back in.
Mm-hmm. Back into production. Yeah, that's the.
Yeah.
I think people also, when you have, like, even for example, now you say 2 issues, but you have an impressive volume with, or even just the amount of people you come with. And I think that almost in a weird way saying that's part of why I guess I've been so anxious to get my first thing out, is just to say you've done it is a marketing strategy,
Yes.
I keep going, I'm going to do it, guys.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
The first one's always hard to do. It's like, I'm doing it. And then it's like, no, I have to prove I'm going to do it. And then you actually are able to get it done.
Yeah, I had no idea what I was doing. And it's a little bit harder than it looks. And a lot of things can go wrong, and a lot of problems can come up you never thought about or heard of. But I've had a lot of problems and come up, and I just overcame them or whatever, and figured it out. Now the second time around is going to be a lot easier for me.
Yes.
Now that I know how it works, how everything, like the pre-press and the printing part, I was kind of, in the dark about all that stuff.
It's the scariest part to me. It's like, let me just print it like 10 times just to make sure I know,
I'm afraid, I'm dreading the printer, but the thing is, because I'm hoping to have a fast turnaround time, but I gave myself an extra month or so because I'm like, I'm scared of the printer. I don't like, because once it's done, it's done. It was hard enough handing it off to an artist from getting it into my head and putting it, and then now I have to hand it off for someone else to print. It's scary, but I have to do it, and I have to just Do you guys pre-print? Like, what do you do?
I haven't done my first yet. I'm still working on it.
Oh,
So that'll be a Belmont answer.
I used a local printer. It's the only place in the Denver area that makes comic books. There's a lot
Oh,
of printers,
nice.
but they don't specialize in comic books. That's a whole different animal.
Oh,
And I just went over there. They have an offset press, not one of those fancy digital ones like they use
okay.
now. I think it's that place in Michigan. I think they use Gecko Publishing or whatever.
Yeah, I think so.
Comics Wellspring.
Yes. Yep.
But we used the offset printer or whatever. And it's about 20 minutes from my house. So I just went over there and they made me a copy. And then when I first got it, I was like, oh shit. And it was really dark. Because it looks great on your screen, right?
Yeah.
And then when you go to get it printed in CMYK on their offset printer and their press, or whatever you want to call it, and it just doesn't look anything. It's all muddy. It's just really dark.
Yeah.
So then I had them lighten it up by about 15%. And then it looked a lot better, but I was getting nervous, I just spent all this money, all this time, all this shit, and it looks like shit. And I'm like,
yep. I used to work in printing, and and I'm like, okay, I know it takes a lot to kind of know when to lighten it and when not to, and you're always scared to upset the customer if you do it. I can totally sympathize with that. Yeah, that's.
So I recommend you actually maybe print out the comic book on single sheets of paper before and then in CMYK, and then looking at them individually and then deciding if you want to make it lighter or whatever, and then do the print file. Because once you make the print file, you can't really edit it.
Yeah, you're stuck with it. Yeah.
It's just a pain in the ass, and I learned my lesson making the first one.
Yeah.
But yeah, then you go down there and get the proof in person. Do not make 1,000 copies of your comic book or whatever, how many copies you're going to get until you see the product in your hand. Don't even look at it on a screen or anything like that. You have to have it in your hand.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think so. Anyway, it's the best way to go.
I agree. I agree.
Pay the extra $10 and have it mailed to you if you're using a printer in a different state. You know what I mean? Use local. Go local.
Yes. When I worked in a print shop, that was the big thing. I'm like, this might have printing issues. Can you come see it in person first? And if someone goes, oh, no, it'll be fine. I'm like, oh, no.
No.
Oh, no. And 9 times out of 10, it was not fine. There's always something that you don't take into consideration until after it's printed and you see it. There's always something that may not have printed the way you thought it would. Some colors don't come out right. So
when you say print every individual page, you talking to your home printer?
No, I mean, you can have the print shop just print it out, I guess, just as like a prints or just pieces of paper on their regular comic paper or whatever they got, whatever stock you're planning on using. And then, take it home with you and look at each page maybe and say, hey, this one is too dark, this one, something like that. And then you can maybe adjust them. I think that's what I'm going to do now. Because last time I didn't know about all these problems that can come up. I thought you can adjust the colors in the print file, but it's just a PDF file. Yeah. You can't really edit it once you got it. I mean, a guy can make a new one for you, but then they're going to, charge you for edits and stuff like that and cost you more money. So save money and time and a headache. I think it would be best just to print them on regular, or just have them print them out as regular sheets of paper on their comic stock, whatever paper you're planning on using, and then, looking at each page individually and see how you like it.
Yeah, and you can take note or make notes on each page too. Of like, hey, this one needs this one needs that. That's a great way to go about it. Very great.
Well, that's what I came up with anyway. That's my solution for the problem, because I don't want to have the headaches that I had last time.
I think it's a great solution. I personally would do that. I think I'm going to do that. I think that's a great way to go about it.
Man, I don't know what to like. Cause all right, I'll think about that later. I have enough. I'm literally while I'm doing this, coming up with more things to do all the time, and it's like,
yep. Now you're like, crap. There's more things to think about.
Same thing with like thumbnails. Thumbnails are very important because you got the dialogue in the script, and you want to fit all that dialogue. And if your artist makes your panel too small, you might have to either have a redraw, which is expensive, or you're going to have to cut some of that dialogue out.
Yep.
And I had to actually do that because in the first couple of pages we didn't do the thumbnail. We did thumbnails, but we didn't add the speech balloons to the thumbnails.
Oh, yeah.
And there wasn't enough room to fit all that text in that little small panel. So we actually had to cut Mike Barron's a little bit short on a couple of panels, which I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
But we fixed the problem right away, and it only affected like 1 or 2 pages. But
Oh, that's
so
good.
that's another thing that came up as well. So there's just so many of these problems that you never thought of that
Hmm.
come up making a book.
Yeah, I hear that is always like a challenge too. Like sometimes there's just a disconnect, or you just don't think about, like you said, and then you're like, wait, dialogue needs to fit here, and then you have to go back and revisit that. And
Yeah, that's why I have my artists send me thumbnails. It's all a learning process, and I think by the time issue 2, my whole thing is I'm like, why is issue 1 taking so? You know what? It's taking long, so that way people because I feel like people don't want to take forever. The thing is, I'm willing to wait for a product if I know that the creators that I like, if I backed it and I know the creators are working their ass off to get it to me in as good of a fashion as possible, that's okay.
yeah,
And so that being said, especially because I was having someone go, oh, is it going to be ready by September? I'm like, I got to make sure. I put that date. I'm hoping to have it done before that. Here's the thing. I'm close to done. So
nice.
but the thing is, that's also I haven't started printing. So
Yeah, that'll be the fun part.
Oh yeah,
long?
then there was a shortage of paper, and then they said, "Oh,
Really?
we got paper, we got paper." And I was like, "Nice."
Well, I
When are
have
you gonna?
friends whose
Oh my
printers who gave me their printer, luckily. So I'm hoping that they know what to do, and I'll like obviously I'll check on things, but
Yeah.
I have some people.
It's good to have at least a little bit of, yeah, this person's good. Okay. Then you
Yeah,
gotta
then
still
after
stay on
paper
it.
shortages, they still couldn't print my comic. I was like, "What's the problem now?" Then they said there was toner
Oh
shortage
my gosh.
because they're just at the mercy of their
Their suppliers.
supplier, and they
Yeah.
just come by once in a while with like a fourth of what they order.
Oh my
So they didn't get
gosh.
enough, and it's still, I don't know if it's still happening, but paper shortages might be. I'm not sure about
Dang,
the
I never thought
toner.
about that. Like,
But yeah, it's just a
Why?
lot of stuff
Oh,
that happened.
No.
I would always
Just
say things like, why doesn't everyone just self-publish and own their things? And then you realize, well, because
yeah, because it's a
because
lot.
I would just go, yeah, I'll write this script, I market it, I pay which marketing, first of all, way more than you realize, and then yeah, what else do my next? Okay, how do I print? All right, there's like millions of kinds of there's different kinds of paper.
Mhm.
Yes.
There's different what's offset versus what?
There's
And so
so
you learn
much.
all this stuff. Oh,
But
you
man,
have
paper
to.
shortages. I'm nervous now. I'm like, all right, I need to finish mine this week.
designer,
It's
Well, there was when I printed my stuff. I don't know what's going on these days.
you never know, man. It's like I feel like everything's so chaotic now.
Oh, you got it. Like even when I was designing my cover, I'm like, okay, I need the character designs for that character. Okay, I need to have the thumbnail so I know where. Okay, I need a logo. Okay, well, where do I place it? All right, I need the company logo. Okay. Oh, I forgot to put the issue number. Gotta go back and do that.
Need a
Oh, I don't have a
checklist. No,
caption.
gotta make a checklist for our checklist
Oh,
for our
I need
checklist,
to color
you know?
it. Yeah. That's what I've literally just stream, and I just write too many of these, and it's like, how much of my day do I spend doing it? I should just do it. That way my checklist will be shorter. It's a big spag, but sometimes you got to organize.
Yeah.
I was just writing down homage covers for later issues, but I'm like, let me finish issue 1, maybe.
I know, just since like giving us all the ideas and like the processes to think
it does
about,
inspire me.
which is fantastic, by the way. I'm totally grateful for it. Before we get too far, though, I do want to look at your rewards. This bundle's great price as well. So you get a lot in here. Ooh. What is the unreleased content in this bundle? Is it like secret stuff or?
It's like sketches and drawings that haven't been shown,
Nice.
model sheets, character designs, stuff like that.
So it's a lot of production stuff that you just haven't shown yet.
Yeah, I just threw it in a
that
PDF
stuff.
as a bonus, and then there's also the artist edition where it's just the pencils only of Smokes, and
Very
the
awesome.
and the
I like
ink
that.
versions of both comics. You can see the artwork. You see Rodney Ramos's cross hatching and stuff like that.
Very awesome. I like that you get more than just the comic. That's a great deal. Then you have the comic, 13 and shipping. Very nice. This is that cover. Oh, you can get them signed, which is awesome. And 2 stickers. I like these. These are very neat. Very stylish.
6 a.m.
6 a.m. 2 6 a.m. I love that. And your blue hat? I
Yeah,
had
that
to
was
make
kind
sure
of a
your hat
joke.
was blue.
Yeah, that was a joke. I just put that up there as a joke.
I like that though.
I would have sent it to him. I still have, a couple laying around, but I just put it there kind of just to be funny. But
and I had to make sure your hat was actually blue too. When I saw that, I'm like, "Is your hat blue?" Yes, it is. It is definitely your hat. And you get 20 yen shipping, so you get the legendary pack. So you get one of each: the Smokes the Fox and Weaponized Werewolf, and the stickers. Very nice. It's a good deal too. This is great packaging right here.
Yes, you want either cover. You can get A or B, pack A or pack B.
Which is great. I love. Oh man. Oh, and you can get 2 sketch covers. That's great. So, would you be doing the sketching on these?
No,
They
they just come blank, so you can do whatever you want.
Okay, gotcha.
You could bring it to an artist if they want to sketch on it.
Very good. Then you get the whole shebang here. So you get all the 2 cover A and B and Weaponized Werewolf and the stickers. Awesome. I do love the Weaponized Werewolf cover. That is such an intense cover. I love it.
Thank you.
Awesome. You get the virgin covers. Perfect.
Those are rare.
I kind of wish we saw
less than
more
50 of them made of each one.
I wish we saw more of that because sometimes, like, I love the cover and that's all I want. That's really nice that you offer that.
The inside is standard. It's got the lettering and everything. Not different about the inside, just the cover.
Yeah.
No text.
Yeah. I like when it's just the cover because it's like that's all I like is the art sometimes. You can get fit 1 or 2. So you got a lot of good perks in here. So that's awesome. And you got look at that original art PDF. These are great. Oh my gosh, that detail is insane. That really is.
Yeah, he did a great job.
I love this. That is
Ronnie was a cool guy. He actually donated his pages to me.
Oh,
wow,
nice.
dude. Yeah, Ronnie is a good. I've worked with
Wow.
him. I'm not sure if he's going to be at Heroes Con, but he's a great guy.
That is really nice of him. Yeah. This is fantastic. The fact that he gave this to you to do that, I'm like, this is phenomenal detail. Dang it. I love this.
That page still available. I have like 3 pages I'm willing to sell. The rest of them I'm keeping.
Okay, so you have 1 left.
Special to me or whatever, but
oh yeah, heck yeah. Keep it for yourself. You have a lot of like great stuff here. Oh, we got pencil and the ink. Oh man.
Yeah, Weaponized Werewolf was drawn a little bit differently. Barry drew the pencils on 11 by 17, and then he would send that scan to Rodney Ramos, and he would blue line it on his own 11 by 17. So it's on 2 different separate pages.
Oh wow!
But when you order the page, if you want one of the pages from Weaponized Werewolf, you'll get both. You'll get the original inks and the original pencils.
Oh, nice!
And they are all signed. I had Mike Barron sign all the pages. Rodney signed them all, and Barry.
That is great. That's definitely something that people need to get. Oh man, this original art though. My wallet is crying.
I think it's pretty good deal for original art.
It is. It's fantastic. It's great. I mean, it's worth it even if it were more. But like, it just looks fantastic.
Example. I have other pages. What I do is I'll show you what pages are available.
Oh, you get to pick. Oh, nice.
And you get to pick whatever one that you want out of the stash that I have left.
That's very generous.
Then you also get the digital comics as well with that.
That's awesome. So you're still getting the comic with the original art. That's fantastic.
And free shipping on those too.
Oh wow, that is okay. That's a great deal. Oh man, the people who are getting that are very lucky.
Yeah,
I will say that. Fantastic. This is a phenomenal campaign. I love it. I love the characters and the origin. And we are definitely going to watch your video now. And is there any timestamps you need to go to or just straight to the video?
No, it's just a quick trailer.
Okay, that's okay. We will do that. I'm going to mute us and then I'm going to play the trailer. The audio will work this time. Just I already set it up. Fantastic, man. That was, you got to see a little bit more of what was going on in that video too. You got to see
Yeah.
other hybrids, which was neat. So do we ever get to see other hybrids in the future editions, or
I was thinking about that, even making like a side project, like, with some hybrids in it.
Awesome. Well, it seems like we have a lot to expect after these two. So that's going to be awesome. I think this is definitely going to go crazy, and we're going to see a lot of fun stuff coming out of this. And I cannot wait to see the next adventure and the next book you put out for this stuff.
I'm working on it. Trying to get it out there.
Yeah.
Always on the grind. Always.
Yep.
Gotta be.
Yep. Well, thank you for taking the time to share this with us. If you haven't checked it out, the link is in the chat. And everything is also in the video description if you're watching this on replay. This looks like a really great story coming to light, so definitely check it out. All right, and now we're on to Vaughn Coleman's project, which is Phenomenova.
Yeah.
So this is also another intense story.
Yeah.
We had 3 of those tonight, and so keeping up with this theme. No werewolves, I don't think. I don't know.
Well, my goal is to ramp up the intensity as it goes. So issue 1 is I had a mental break from, it's one of those days where I wrote a lot without actually physically writing. It was just mentally like everything clicked. And now I have ideas for stories and stories and stories, but it was like, I wanted to go back to the comics I love and the stories I love, not even just specifically comics and how they'd ramp stuff up. Now you got to keep it interesting, right? I don't want people to say, oh, it doesn't get good until issue 20, right? Because then it's like, all right, you think you're going to last 20 issues? As it known, like, and it's also, I wouldn't want to do 20 boring issues, but this, I really wanted to, if I'm going to do issue 1, let's really double down on this being issue 1, this being an origin story. And I was, a huge fan of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies, which it was perfect timing that was re-released in theaters, right as I was launching this campaign. Yeah, so that
like
time,
a callback. Yeah, it's like a sign that you were on the right track. You did it.
Yeah, I was in that theater and I was like, I'm so ready, because that was like, I came up with this idea as a superhero movie when I was in 2nd grade. I had been a big fan of like the X-Men movies and Spider-Man, and so in a way, it's almost that. But then it became so much more as I got more into superheroes through watching more shows and reading comics, and in an age where everyone's trying to deconstruct superheroes and tear them down or try to reinvent the wheel, I wanted to just create a new wheel and say, this is something that's special. In an age of I always say in an age of deconstruction that this is a reconstruction, a reconstitution of everything that makes this genre so special. And obviously I wanted to put my own spin on it, my own story. But there would be people that give me feedback and say, maybe you should make it darker. Maybe you should make him more of an anti-hero. And I was like, and when I'd have visceral reactions to that, I'd go, well, why? And that's one of the things. If you get someone suggest something to you and you're just like, oh, then hold on a second. Why did you react that way? And what is it? And you have to ask these questions because then it makes you double down on what it is. I'm a big fan of like boiling my ideas down to its core. Yeah. And I would do that. And that's what I decided ultimately was what the story was going to be. So it is my main character. It's funny, even though it's a superhero story and I'm really doubled down, the one character who really doesn't have a superhero costume in the story is my main character. And that was because as I was writing it, I realized I wanted to kind of extend his hero's journey. And at first I was scared that people get bored, but I was like, well, are people bored with my writing? And the truth is I would get it. And when people weren't, I would have to go back and rewrite it. And ultimately, I found that it actually made the character more interesting because it's like he's earning the right to be a superhero. He's earning it. Yep. And so he has a makeshift costume in issue 1. And I wanted to give him these impossible ideals to live up to. We talk often as men about, how we wish we could be as brave as the heroes that fought in World War II. Well, this is a world set after World War III in which there were superheroes that fought during the war. And now he has that standard to live up to. And how do you do that when you're a 15-year-old who just got his powers? And I wanted to give a fast turnaround time. The book was going to be completely done when I first crowdfunded, but I decided to make it, it's damn close. We're like 4 pages away from done with inks. And
Nice.
and then the printer, my goal is for it to be basically by the end of next month, the art and the whole book itself should be done, and it should be ready to send to the printers. So
That's awesome.
everyone who backs on Fund My Comic will get an exclusive free mini print. And also, if we hit that stretch goal, there's that double page spread of the fire. Everyone will get that as a mini print if we hit 15K.
This one?
Yeah,
This
if
one.
we hit 15K,
Nice.
you get that as a free mini print, but you already get one of our main villain. And so Phenomenova is the name of the team he will be joining, but you are not going to see that team in issue 1. And it's funny how a lot of people have come here, and that's not a bad thing at all. Actually, I like reading non-superhero. I'm trying to branch out more into non-superhero stuff, but they choose to do something else, and that's great. It's funny that I'm actually the only superhero book person here, but it's cool because it's like I feel like everyone's trying to. They're trying new things, which I think is what makes comics such an inventive medium. Yes. And I agree, there should be more genre variety. But I felt like if anything, made me doubling down on this old school superhero approach, even down to this stuff. Everyone keeps almost trying to get away from the stuff they grew up with. In a way, some people don't. Some people, I do. Like even you guys are talking about how much you love horror and all that.
Yeah. Never letting it go.
No, you shouldn't. I love horror too. I'll do something in the horror genre, but I was like, let's make this a true superhero story.
Well, in a way, when you're talking about Sam Raimi and stuff, it's almost you're also like acknowledging what introduced you to it.
Yeah.
It's not just it's superhero. There's also a reason it helped. It's what started your interest.
And I take inspiration from everything, even down from this. When I was looking off screen, it was me. Here's an idea. So I had was doing a list of potential homage covers because you mentioned, you're doing one every time, Belmont. I'm like, what are some ones that inspired me? And it kind of made me go, that cover is great. That could use it. And that's a form of creativity. And I'm gonna put that away for a while probably because otherwise I'll go insane. But it's been such an amazing journey, and I have so many people come out and support me as someone who, who am I? I've edited some stuff, which is great. I started off my career editing Hunter Ninja Bear, which was amazing. And then to have this idea I've had and rewrite it over and over and over and over again. And I remember, I had found this artist, which was a rigorous process. Everything took a while and I'd get frustrated, but now I realize it took how long it needed to take.
Yep. Sometimes there's like a slogan that someone I follow once in a while. She says, things happen right on time, and I'm like, that's true. Like when,
I beat myself up a lot
together.
And I realized I need to stop doing that. More positive,
Yeah.
I'm getting stuff done. And that's the thing. I keep going, I'm not getting anything done. It's like,
when you're creative, you always think that,
I am actually. Yeah. Objectively, I am getting stuff done.
Yeah. I had to start making a list of what I was getting done to be like, okay, I did get things done. It's just, I had too high of expectations that were just completely unrealistic for the day, and I think we just need to be more forgiving of ourselves when we give ourselves too much expectation, but this, I know you've been working a long time on this, and it's crazy to see everything finally, like you pushed it out there and it looks great. I mean, the covers look phenomenal. They look really nice. I love the colors on them too. And
there's going to be another cover too that's going to be added on.
Is that Reni's cover?
No, Reni's is already on the campaign page. It's not fully colored yet.
Okay.
But there is going to be another one.
Wow.
So one final cover that I'll add on here to coincide with Kickstarter. People said, I should make a Kickstarter to drive my back as Kickstarter, but I said I get that. I think I'd rather just keep it as simple as like part of the reason I'm doing it for Kickstarter is there's some people that prefer that. I'm like, here you go on here. If you prefer From My Comic, here it is on here. Maybe I know some people like Indiegogo, but I feel like they shadow ban everyone. It's basically the same audience as Fund My Comic, so that's why I was like, well, might as well just Fund My Comic. If I have an issue with my campaign, Luke Stone right there, I could just talk to him.
Yes,
I can't imagine as someone who because I've made mistakes on this campaign. I'm glad that I was able to work them out with the site owner. Like I'm actually, as a new creator, I do highly recommend actually starting here, in part because, okay, the algorithm, I don't know if it's going to take care of you on these other ones. Yes, it's a smaller thing, but at least you also keep a larger percentage here.
Yes, you do. It is much better all around. Like, that's why I was so proud. I'm like, everything is Fun My Comic again today. Yes.
Yeah. Creative freedom. There's no, I have yet to have any, I mean, don't really have anything controversial in this coming of ages, all ages book, but you know.
But it's nice to know that it's a site that does value that, you know, because it just, it's a more open site for everything. And I had no problems with it. I love it. I've backed plenty on the site. This is actually where I go first now.
This is where I do too, yeah.
Kickstarter and Indiegogo. Like, you got the Fun My Comic? All right, let's get that out there.
I'm actually more hesitant to back on Indiegogo these days because I'm like, why aren't you back? Like, if for example, when Nexus launched, I was like, yeah, no, let me know when it's on Fun My Comic. Like, I'm actually, if it's someone I know, like if it's Billy Tucci, then I'll be like, yeah, I'll Indiegogo. But I'm like, I'm telling all these guys, I'm like, guys, just literally plop what you have on Indiegogo on Fun My Comic. You'll make more money because you're keeping a higher percentage.
Yeah.
You're also
it's
I
great.
say this, listen, it would kind of screw me over because I'm gonna get taken from the top. If Billy launches on there, suddenly I'm not that big of a boy on here, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's good to bring more people over here because they're bringing their backers and they might be like, you know what, let me check what else
while I'm also
is out here, you know. But yeah, these covers are great. I like how intense they are. Like, here he looks like he knows this is powerful, what this power he has in his hand, but he also looks a little reluctant. And like you were saying, he has to match the World War III heroes. And now this makes complete sense. It's a big ask for a teenager, you know, to live up to that expectation.
And I had people tell me that because initially his superhero name was gonna be Lord Lightning, which Rini thought was a joke in the script when she read it and gave feedback. So that's why she didn't. But then the whole panel laughed at me when I said that on stream. So I changed it to Galvanite. Eventually. But people were like, well, that's a really cool name, but like it's too cool for this character. And I'm like, that's the point. It's because he's going to eventually become a superhero. I almost prematurely start his arc. Whereas a lot of people, by the end of issue, the default in the genre is you want them to be that by the end of issue 1. I said, I actually found out as I was writing it that the story got better when he wasn't there. And now if I need a time skip or something, that's fine. But I kept coming up with all these ideas before he gets his costume. And I was like, well, am I just going to skip over all these? These are good ideas. These are stories. Let's get these out.
Yeah.
And,
yep, it's always great when you have so much to get out. It's like, hold on, gotta place it we put it in the right place story wise. This is I know you like Final Fantasy a lot, so I really shouldn't be surprised you have a Final Fantasy homage cover.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 7. It's funny, I don't know anything much about this franchise outside of that. I played a bit of 15, but I was at the gym and the new game was coming out, which I gotta finish. It's another thing. I'm like, why is it taking me so long? It's like probably because when a new game would come out and I wanted to get it done, like the last one, no life for a few days. I just did that. I did that for maybe 2 days of the new one, but then I actually was like, all right, let me work on my comic. But it's
nice. It's a great. It makes you think of Final Fantasy with the colors and the background entirely too. And this is a great one too.
Yeah, and what's funny is those covers happen to just be in sequential order.
Oh, nice. It just happened to work out. So
see, he gets the lightning, then he's got the costume, now he shows up at the reactor, and now he fights the villain. That's just totally coincidental. The last cover is going to break that, but that's okay.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, that's okay.
Last cover, if anything, well, you'll see it. I won't spoil it.
Okay. You got this great shot. I know this. A lot of people were like, "Holy smokes!" Like this was an intense.
I got so many signups, and this is when people were like, I think Kelsey Shannon even tweeted, he goes, "Okay, hold on, can everyone just? What is Vaughn doing? He's been just quiet this whole time, and then he just drops this."
Yeah,
that's
really great. And I remember seeing a lot of this stuff when you first launched, and I like that this looks like they're just hanging out, kids having fun. I don't know what they're digging up, but it looks like they're going on an adventure. And this is, I'm guessing, where he discovers all the powers.
It's where he discovers that crystal. Yeah, I wanted to, and I'd have earlier drafts where it would be, I spent too much time on his high school shenanigans, but I had to kind of do, it's about like 20, well, less than that in a way, but I would just keep condensing. But I kept coming back to, there's this scene where he's dealing with bullies, and I was like, this scene has changed in every draft, but why am I so insistent on this high school bully trope? Is it just because it's and I thought, and I was like, well, no, because what I realized was, and this kind of helped me with the thematic purpose of the scene, was that I wanted to show that even before he gets the superpowers, that he's someone that wants to do good, that takes a stand when others maybe don't, who tries not to take crap from anyone. And I guess that's kind of what it came down to, is that that one would be.
It's always good when you have a purpose for it, because that's like the challenge with writing a story is triple checking. Does this make sense? And then it sucks. You're like, no, it doesn't. And you're like, but is there a reason why it's speaking to me so strongly? And it's good when you're able to solve that issue. And this looks really cool. This is an intense, like, there's a lot going on in here. I love this. And this is your main villain, Dark Cloud. He looks like a villain.
Yeah,
he looks like a bad guy.
That's good.
This is not someone you want to mess with. And is this his personal arsenal here?
Yes, and there's more.
There's
actually, that's not even all the weapons. Like one of the things I love working with, and one of the reasons I love the collaboration process so much, is, so I remember I just said, oh, I'm going to hire you to do something. I didn't know what exactly. I go, mini print. I'm just going to do this. Here's all my characters. He goes, let me draw some of the World War III heroes. He was like, because to be fair, these other characters are visually more interesting, at least to start with, than my main hero, which is why when he gets a costume, I want everyone to finally be like, yes, but he's just a blonde kid. Like, do you know how many, but that's fine. You got to get to know him as a person, but he wanted to initially World War III characters. I start describing them, and then he goes, okay, tell me about that villain. And I start telling him about the villain. And he starts asking me these questions. He goes, okay, where is his lair? And I'm like, why is he asking me this? What are his weapons? Oh, why is he? He goes, he just asked me a few questions. I'm like, oh, he's really just. And then he goes, okay, so here's what I'm going to do. And then he just describes it. And I'm like, that's perfect. Like this guy, like Zach, great artist. He's got one of those guys, he draws, he's great at drawing tech. So in hindsight, it was a perfect. And
it worked out. This is perfect for someone who loves that sort of drawing challenge. Like this. Weapons are not easy to make convincingly.
And what's cool is all these extra art pieces. Like, so he drew stuff. I was like, well, if you're drawing a whole arsenal, here's a list of some of the villain's other weapons. And he goes, okay. Nice. And he goes, all right, I'm going to leave these ones off. I'm like, okay, we'll just say they're in one of the cases then. Like, because some of the weapons hadn't been designed. I have with Dark Cloud. So I came out with it when I was younger, and it's one of those characters. There's a lot of good ideas when I was younger, and there's somewhere I'm like, that needed work. But like he would come up with, I came up with like, so a lot of his gadgets are very weather based, is like a theme of his. So he has his cloud gun. He uses black smoke. There's a freeze right underbelly component because like ice. He has these a lot of his weapons, and you only see a fraction of them. He's a character that I'm really excited to explore, and I have to rewrite now. But I've written the first 8 issues. Issue 5, where I'm going to reveal his backstory and everything, is probably my favorite issue that I wrote. Because I wanted to, have a mystique to him and whatever. And initially he was going to be the villain for the first movie, but I was like, why am I so dead set on this guy? And as I revamped the character, he became someone that's kind of, I think, a good villain, especially just the starting villain. Either just be a threat to overcome, or someone that challenges and reinforces the ideas of the hero. And again, coming back to the idea of reinforcing, you don't see much in issue 1, but you get the sense that Dark Cloud is someone who maybe at one point believed in some level in the good of humanity, but he's someone he's just like, nope, everyone's out for themselves. You got to just go out for yourselves. Screw everyone else because they're going to screw you over. Idealism is wasted on fools. This whole selflessness thing, you got to do what's in your best interest. Yeah. And so you have a main character who's almost like a blind, no, I don't want to say blind idealist. Like he knows some of the horrors of the world. And
he's just more,
but he's more hopeful, bright and wide-eyed. And so it's kind of like finding that balance between being a hero realizing that, hey, you can't just run into a reactor with no training and whatever, like that kind of stupidity, while still keeping his ideals. And so
he's got to learn how to execute his ideals without properly, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, you got a big team here too. You both have really fantastic teams. Like, again, it is not easy to get a team together for anything.
No, it's not.
It's just not. You guys.
Yeah, and there's going to be 2 more added to that, so I don't know how I'm going to rework the graphic. So I'll have to figure that out.
I'll let you figure that out. You'll have to figure that out. You can either make the images bigger and then less per row, and then balance it out,
or I'll just make another one, I guess. I don't know. But so my last cover artist, I have revealed it. So is Buzz, who did Vengeance of Vampirella in the 90s. Let me see what else.
I know Buzz.
Yeah, so Buzz is let me see, because when I feel like a Buzz on Comic Vine, it's always like it comes with like characters, and I'm like, no, he's a guy. Like he just goes by Buzz. But God damn it. Hold on. I'm trying to find people. There we go. Okay. So Buzz, I mean, he's done, you know what? I could pull up the cover of thumbnail. Oh yeah. Look at that. I already have it open because I keep doing this thing where I'm like, maybe. And I'm like, I've already shown it on stream. So I'll show it.
You should be able to show it.
Yeah, I can show
Yeah,
it.
go ahead. Should be the share button.
And this will be added soon. So I actually had someone that saw that was like, all right, Vaughn, I'm going to wait to back your campaign until that's out. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Which it should hopefully, if things go right now, you know, they don't always in life, but if they should go right, I got to hunker down. It should be done by as well. The Rini cover should be fully colored, and the Buzz cover should both be done soon. Hold on. What? All right. Why does it default to opening in Firefox? I never use Firefox.
Firefox is dominating.
I don't know why it's oh, great. The link doesn't work. Second. All right. Give me a second. I'm going to. Oh, wait. Is it not? Did I not add it to the campaign page? No, I didn't.
Oh,
I didn't. I know I didn't. God
okay.
Damn it. All right.
It's okay.
No, I know.
Well, let's go over the rest of your campaign, then we can share that when you're ready. So, I love the dedication. I did hear about this, which I'm very sorry about. I think that's really nice to.
Yeah, you know, it was kind of there's a bunch of reasons why I decided to dedicate it to my dad. You know, the first it often came from a story. So first it was really a story standpoint when I realized my main character was kind of missing something. You know, he was missing, and I looked at it and it was like, well, all right, well, what drives me? And I was like, well, to be honest, like losing my dad helped shape my value system and my worldview. And I was like, well, why don't I do that with my character? And I was like, well, it's already too similar to myself. And I was like, well, are they going to call it self-insert anyway? I mean, yeah. So I was like, all right, and it made the story better, made it more personal. And it reinforced my ideals. And also you look at Batman, you look at Spider-Man, and they pull from real life tragedies. So I'm like, well, I have one in my life. Why am I not pulling from it? Who cares if it's a little on the and I was like, well, then if I'm going all in, I'm making sure he's modeled after my dad. Because one of my things is I want to create a story that's even after I'm gone, that people will remember. And I was like, well, I want to make sure that his legacy lives on through that too. Every time someone starts with issue 1, that they'll see his face. And I decided to do that. And practically in the world, it made sense that because my mom was like, all right, well, you should make him a badass. Well, I'm like, of course. You know?
Aw, I like that. That's nice.
You know, initially she had said she has a superhero, but I didn't want to go that route because I wanted to show that there's everyday heroes. And so I had that. Well, it makes sense chronologically, it being 20 years after World War III, that he would have fought during the war. And so I came up with a backstory and everything. And it goes to the idea of legacy, that he's pulling from the superheroes that inspired him from the war, but also his father, his real life hero. And he's kind of struggling with how to go about the world as he's becoming a man. That was another thing, deciding on the age for my character. You know, I ended up choosing 15 freshmen in high school. And because I figured I'd rather start younger, and then I could always just age him up if I need to. I could always
see the character progress as he gets older, because it, you know, has an impact on how he views the world. And
It's almost like he's just starting high school. It's already hectic enough for a teenage boy. And then now you have this, and then he doesn't have a father to guide him. And so that's why part of why he makes so many mistakes. I knew the father wasn't going to be in the picture, but I was like, instead of me just alluding to it and not really commenting on it, let's explain it.
You have a level of what you want to do where he has to meet that higher expectation and how he's going to do that. It just adds another layer to that, which is, it's a great way of doing it, I think. So yeah, that was a nice touch. It's a good way to honor him.
Yeah, I felt that way. And there is a fan art contest that I don't promote enough. I
know. I'm like, this is the first time I'm hearing about it.
All right.
So is it still going on then?
All right, I'm gonna add that to my to-do list. So
there you go.
Fan art. You know what? I'll do that. I'll do that right after this.
There you go. You share it again. Schedule some posts and then let's have them automate. Automatically.
Yeah, I don't do that enough. But yeah, the fan art contest is still something that we're doing. I've got some great stuff already.
Nice.
And I'm looking to see some more. We have about a month left. Well, by the end of June, I'm hoping to send it off to the printer in July, which means ideally I'd love to be shipping out within July, but we'll see. But it actually does seem like a possibility. We'll see. I think for delays, but I'd love to have it in my hands by my birthday, which is late July. So we will see if that happens. I will say this, I'll say it now, issue 2 is greenlit.
Awesome. So once people get this, they won't have to wait
too
long. I mean, you still have to wait. I get to put it together and stuff, but
I'm going to start as soon as my artist is finished and he has 4 pages left. My goal is to have issue 2. So let me, oh my God, I'm writing so much stuff down.
This is the writing all the ideas downstream.
Yeah.
You got some good tiers on this as well. You have, I like that you have the option to add the signature because I know not everybody cares about having a signature on their comic. So having it in like an additional tier is pretty nice.
Yeah, and the thing about it too is I have it like if you want it shipped signed, I'll happily then I have to go down to the fulfillment and do that. That's why it's $5. But if you meet me in person or at a convention or just know me and you bring it to me, I'll sign it for free. It's not a big deal. But it's if you want it sent to you signed.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. So that basically you have to go physically there. That makes sense.
Yeah. Totally. Which even then what I made off of that is not enough to fund the trip to be going, but I'm going to go anyway.
But it's a little something to at least cover some of it, So that's pretty good. You got 20 for the main cover. These are really good prices too.
Yeah, the main cover I wanted. So the main cover is you're not getting a crowdfunding. You're getting the exclusive mini print. So you are getting and whatever stretch goals and you're getting it first. Because people are like, oh, everything should be campaign exclusive. I don't agree with that. I don't think if you want to do that, that's fine. But no, I think the main cover is the main cover. You can get it before and after, but that's the standard price. Now the variants, because I'm initially I wasn't going to do that many variants, and then I couldn't help myself. But the variant covers you can add them. But I decided, all right, I'll make that the more standard price, $25 for a crowdfund book of this size, because I wanted it to be at least a little cheaper.
And you
25, but they're also exclusive. The variants are once the campaigns are done, you're not. If I'm going to have it on my website. In digital versions, you won't be able to get the variants. So if you
that
want
makes sense. That makes
cover,
sense.
Get the variant covers. So most people do just get the standard cover, but I've gotten some people who really want the
number for the variant. That's a pretty good amount, Yeah. And I'm sure some people. Do you have you do have it main cover and variant. Awesome.
Very cool. We've sold over 400 copies total, which is great.
That is fantastic. Yeah, you got. Like the covers themselves they have great variety to them. And like you said, now that I know that it's a progression where, he starts off there and kind of want all of them. So you can see in real time, like how they line up and how the story progresses with it. That's pretty neat.
Yeah. So unfortunately, because I'm adding another cover, I will have to update the all covers and say all covers buzz cover not included. But you can just add as an add-on. I'll do something with the shipping.
It's always the shipping that's annoying. It's like the only hang up, like when doing tiers sometimes the shipping's a pain. But I like that. 5 of everything. That's a lot. Is this something for like comic stores and stuff like that?
No, there's a retailer tier. That's if you're crazy enough to spend 500. Which, listen, you got my advice. Oh, by the way, all right. So one of the 100 backers hasn't gotten back to me, so I'm gonna make sure. No, he hasn't gotten. I know him. I just.
Okay. Okay. Good. Whew. I was like, oh no.
No. I'll be like, hey, it didn't go through. He'll be like, my bad. Like that's no. I know him personally. I wish I was. I don't know if I'm cool enough for random people to spend 500 on me yet who don't know me in person. But you get your name in the book for 500, and you get more than $500 worth if you add up the value. And producer tier, you get credited as a producer, and you get more than $1,000 worth of comics. Nice. So these are good deals, and it's like I figure if you're crazy enough to spend it, let's make it worth your while.
And there are people like that. You never know.
And surprisingly, I haven't heard back from him, but yeah, I got a retailer, which is a pleasant surprise.
Nice. That's always a good thing to achieve. And you got your extra mini.
Yeah. So the mini print, you get one, but if you want another one, it's only $3. Go ahead. The first one is free.
Just add it. You can keep one with your comic forever, and then frame the second one.
Yeah.
All right, and you're sold out of your trading card.
So the trading card was the first one day, and then I brought it back for the last week of the funding. So that's going to be a collector's item. And then going forward, I plan on having a day one trading card with every campaign. And that one is special because it is of my main character, but you're not going to see him in this debut costume again. This is his makeshift costume that you see kind of like on Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. There was like the other ones, or there's like it was like the first try as a superhero. So you're not going to see him in this outfit again. So
gotcha. That's pretty neat though. I like that. And
what's cool about having a makeshift costume is it's meant that people have been very creative with the fan art and doing their own things, which I kind of like. So it's like that's always fun.
It is. I like when people have their own little twist on things like that. Awesome. All right, I'm going to play your trailer. Is there any timestamps, or just play it straight?
Just play it straight.
Play it straight. All right. I'm going to mute us all and get that audio going.
When the whole world was dragged into World War III, brave men like my father fought on the front lines. And they weren't alone. That was 20 years ago. Now it's up to us to carry on their legacy. And every so often, the earth from which we come gives way for something new. Something greater to be born, and with them, even greater threats to face. Bring it on! Phenomenova. For you, Dad. For you.
All right. There we go. That was a great trailer.
Thank you. Yeah, worked hard on it. And Dark Daily, I think he improved it with his edits.
Yeah, that was really good. So I've never done voiceover or audio or anything. I'm always like, I feel awkward. What was it like doing the voiceover and stuff?
I've done it before. I acted a lot in college and before that, because I have a filmmaking background, so it wasn't difficult. And I always felt like I would play the character if there was ever any adaptations. So I have, it wasn't too difficult, in all honesty. It was, but it was a lot of fun. But it was fun, kind of figuring out how young do I want to sound, because he's 15.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to match that. Yeah, it turned out it was a great trailer. Music was really intense. I like how it helped progress as the story progressed in the trailer.
I had to find the right. I had like a slight script, and then I found the trailer music that fit, where it was like, okay, I need it to be quieter in the beginning and then build up. And I found the right music and I laid it out, and boom, we got it. Awesome.
I'm just gonna say too, you both have like a lot of talent and support from like amazing people behind your projects, like Karen and Billy Tucci. Like seeing, like,
I've been blessed.
Yeah, seeing like their approval on these projects is, I can't even imagine what that's amazing. Like that is so great to see. And I think that's almost like they're not passing the baton on, but it's showing just how much your indie stuff is going to make a difference. I think I'm just excited for you guys. So thank you guys for hopping on and sharing your projects. I'm very grateful for being able to hear more about them than just your campaign pages, and to share that with other people as well. I know we're a little over, so I apologize for that.
It's okay.
But you guys had a lot to share, and the conversations were definitely worth having. Especially hearing your experience, Justin, with printing and stuff. You brought up a lot of great stuff that I've never heard anyone bring up before. I was like, oh, maybe I should take some notes here.
Yeah, I thought my print file could be adjusted like any way after I had it. And I realized that was a lie.
Yeah. And that was a great point you brought up. So I hope that people who do watch the replay take notes on that, because that was really informative. And hearing like what inspired you both, because you both have this in common, where something you were working on when you were younger and it just wasn't going away, and now you're bringing it to life. And I think that's fantastic. So never give up on your stuff. Doesn't matter when you first thought of it or when you first created it, you can make it amazing. So thank you guys for sharing all that, and
thank you.
I wish you all the best, and thank you again for coming on. I know it's Memorial Day weekend. I totally forgot. There was a holiday. So I do appreciate you coming on and sharing all that. So with
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no problem. And with that, we are definitely going to end the stream. Go check out these links. They are in the description of the video. There's so much here, and all three of you you have a lot, and you have a lot coming too. So this isn't something to sleep on. When number 2 comes out for Justin and Vaughn stuff, you're going to want to get it. And for Dio stuff with 3 and 4 coming out. So just go grab it. Just grab it all. It's going to be great. So thank you guys for watching and tuning in. I hope you all have a great night. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next Indie Takeover, which will be in June, with the final date announced later. And I will see you all next time.
Thank you. Have a good one.